Hey, I'm Jiso, and this is Wo Long, an upcoming game from Team Ninja. But if you're not familiar with the studio, they are notorious for making the Ninja Gaiden series and more recently Nioh. And if you still don't know, I played a shit ton of Nioh 2, especially that one because I reached level 250 and I'm still not done. I'm still playing this game to this day and I just love it. So of course I was going to check out Wo Long, which I did when the demo released last year. But this one is a new demo. They tweaked some things, mostly the hitting, because this is a very fast-paced game, and I don't know why they decided initially to have your character heal in like what 10 seconds. That was just silly. But now you can heal almost, I think it's like 2 or 3 seconds, give or take, which is nice. It's going to make a difference. You can heal in between attacks, which is kind of good. So I'm here to tell you a little thing, some things I noticed and how to, in my opinion, have a good experience when it comes to Wo Long. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to use parry and deflections interchangeably. They mean the same thing, I mean kind of, so don't get don't get confused if I used parries and deflections here and there. So the very first thing I want to talk about is the Moro system. The Moro, that's a new thing they included in the game, and I think it is very important that you understand how it works. So you have multiple battlefields or maps, and whenever you start at the battlefield, at the beginning of a mission, your Moro is going to be at rank 0. And actions such as killing enemies or simply sometimes just killing them or performing deflections whenever they are trying to hit you with those crushing blows, which are those red flashing attacks, your Moro rank is going to increase. And basically that's what you want to do. You want to keep fighting enemies until you reach the maximum, which is, I don't know, I think you can just go as high as you can. But here's the catch: if you die and you haven't fortified that Moro rank, you're going to lose that rank when you die. That's why you're going to see some flags. You have the big flags and you have the little flags you have to raise throughout the map, throughout the battlefield, in order to preserve your Moro rank. It's called fortitude. So let's say, for example, you had your fortitude is at 10. It means that whenever you die now, your Moro rank is not going to go below 10, which is very important, because the more you progress through a level, the more difficult, the more high level enemies you're going to encounter. So in my opinion, your Moro rank is even more important than your character level. Whenever you invest some points into your stats, I think your Moro is going to get you farther than your actual level. Because sometimes I actually made the test. I beat the demo and I reached level 20, which is the max level in the demo. And I went back to the beginning, but I tried to just speedrun my way to the boss fight and have as less Moro rank as possible. And mind you, I was max level and I was still getting one shot by those crushing blows. So I figured, wait. My first time around, I was what, level 5 or I don't know, 4, give or take, and I wasn't getting one shot. But now that my Moro rank is lower, I am, even though my level is higher. So I figured, wait, Moro rank is actually so much more important than you actually think. So in case you want to have a good time and not struggle too much, I would advise just collecting every single flag on any given level. That way you can make sure that by the time you get to the boss, you're going to have an easier time, and when you do die, it's not going to be such a hassle to go back to the place you died at. It's very important. Moro rank is very important in this game, and you want to make sure you also have some items to sometimes not permanently but momentarily increase your Moro. I think they also added some, whenever a player dies, you can give them some cups, some healing items, and then for a short time your Moro rank is going to increase. Again, they're actually putting so much emphasis on how important Moro rank is, because even having one level above one enemy is enough for you to deal more damage and to take less damage. But just keep in mind that those crushing blows are what you want to avoid, because the problem with this game is that, I mean, it's not really a problem. It's not a problem at all. Whenever you get hit by a crushing blow, your level is going to decrease, your moral rank is going to decrease, which is unfortunate because chances are you could potentially lose 3 to 5 levels in the fight. So it's going to make the fight increasingly more difficult the more crushing blows you get hit by. See, it's not a problem, it's just something you need to keep in mind. You really don't want to get hit by those crushing blows, and I actually have some tips when it comes to avoiding getting hit by those attacks. But there's something else we need to talk about before we address the deflections and crushing blows. Well, here's the thing. You will unlock some spells by the time you play the game, and you will not be able to use those spells until you reach a required mandatory moral rank. It means that no matter how many spells you have, unless on one given level you have reached the required moral rank to use that ability, you won't be able to use it. So even like it reaffirms, I think that's a verb, right? Reaffirming. I hope so. It reaffirms the fact that your moral rank is so important, because imagine having all those skills that you cannot use because you died once and you didn't make sure your moral rank will never decrease. That's very, very, very bad. So again, make sure you keep an eye on your moral rank, and you can actually have enemies D rank by performing crushing blows. You know that moment whenever you feel the spirit or stamina and they are defenseless, whenever you perform a crushing blow, they're actually going to D rank, which means that you will be able to deal even more damage to them, which is good. Like, what works for you works for them, which is again amazing, and we love those. So let's talk about deflections. I want to think of myself as someone who is quite proficient at games, and I played many games like Sekiro and Shifu where parries were the way to go, right? Even in Wo Long, deflections are what you want to be doing. However, I always felt like the timing was a little tight. Like it feels like each one of those 3 games has a different parry window. And I really struggle with the one in Wo Long, even though I beat every single FromSoftware or Team Ninja games before. And here's my advice when it comes to performing those deflections. I'm talking about the regular ones when it comes to simple attacks. You can hold your block button and deflect at the same time. Again, I'm not talking about the crushing blows, I'm talking about the regular attacks. If you hold block and then you perform the deflection, even if you miss the attack, even if you miss the deflection, you're still going to block it, right? You don't have to just press deflection, you can block and deflect at the same time. That way, if one fails, well, you still have the other to back you up. So that's I think that's going to help you when it comes to regular attacks. But you just need to keep in mind that here your spirit, which is like your stamina, is going to get filled whenever you get hit by an attack, or whenever you try to block an upcoming attack or just miss a deflection. It's going to increase, and if you get filled, well, you're exposed, and then the enemy can hit you. You don't want that to happen. So whenever your stamina or spirit is full, all you have to do is maybe just create some distance or just hit the opponent, because hitting the enemy is going to decrease your spirit. So this game is really pretty. It's really trying to tell you to just be aggressive, and I love it. The game is so much fast paced and so much better than, I'll say the combat is somewhat better than Nioh, even though I think Nioh has better weapons. But again, the full game isn't out yet, so it's a little bit too soon to tell. Now, there is something else you need to keep in mind. It is the fact that those games, usually whenever you perform an attack, such as, I don't know, even if you're just using regular attacks, you need the animation to be over before you can do anything else. You can't cancel animation, and I think that there is like a 1 second delay between the moment you hit people or try to hit people and the moment you can perform a block or a deflection. And you do want to keep that in mind, because if you're too aggressive and then the enemy is trying to perform a crushing blow, you won't have time. Even if you input perfectly the deflection input, you won't have time to deflect the attack because you were already locked in one animation prior to you trying to do something else. So you don't want to just go and mash your way in this game, because you're going to get punished severely. And keep in mind that those crushing blows are lethal, because they're going to make you D-rank. Literally, you're going to D-rank, and then you're going to get hit harder. And we definitely don't want to get hit and D-rank. So my advice when it comes to deflecting those crushing blows is just to take your time. It's out of panic sometimes we tend to try to deflect the moment we see those red flashing lights, which is not what you want to do. You want to wait for the moment the attack is about to connect, and then you can perform a deflection. But because enemies have different the crushing blows have different timing, I think you just have to wait and see, and then you're going to get familiar with every single deflection window. That's all I can tell you about. But you do want to make sure that you don't overcommit to an attack and then you cannot perform a play or a deflection. That's my insight when it comes to. It's the same as Sekiro. It's something you have to experience for yourself, and the more you do it, the better you're going to be at doing it. And yeah, that's how it works. So long story short, your moral is the most important thing in the game for now, and I can't wait to get my hands on more spirits, because I feel like this game is very easy, but you can easily make it harder on yourself if you're not mindful of whatever you're doing. It's not just about the moral rank. They have so many tools, especially spirit attacks, you can perform to somehow stun lock enemies. And I noticed that even the starting spirit, it's like a guardian spirit, but not really. Even that one is kind of broken. Like, I died to the first boss, 5 times. But I didn't die to anybody else, any other boss, which was weird because it's supposed to get increasingly difficult. But I noticed that the more you progress and the more tools you were given, the easier the enemies were becoming. So I don't know if they just tweaked the difficulty just for the sake of the demo, right? They want you to buy the game, they don't want you to get destroyed in the demo, and you're going to be like, no, I don't want to pay 60 or 70 just to get destroyed when the main game comes out. But I did notice that the game was somewhat easy, or maybe I was just understanding the mechanics and just playing better. I don't know. Your mileage may differ, but I do want to know about your experience with the demo, because I think this game is going to be awesome, just like Nioh was, just like the Gaiden was. And people sometimes say that it's like the best Souls-like game. I can see the similarities, but to be honest with you, I feel like what makes FromSoftware games is not really the combat, it's about the storytelling, right? They have a particular way to deliver the plot of the game, and the story is like just mysterious, and you have to make your own assumptions and your own discoveries to understand the plot and whatnot. It's not like that in Nioh or even in Wo Long. There's a lot of exposition and characters which can just present the story to you, so you never, you always know what's happening most of the time. So yeah, it's very close to Dark Souls and all those other games, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, but it's also so different because it's so fast paced and you have way more tools. The combat has so much depth. You can make builds, and it's just going crazy. So either way, I'm going to cover this game because, again, I just love the studio. They make quality content, and yeah, I'm Jisoo, and hopefully this video is going to help you. And don't forget, moral over anything, fortify that moral, and you're going to be good. You're going to have such a good time. I'll see you soon. Peace.